Hi guys, I have got a fun page in my Traveler's Notebook today using this cut file from scrapbook.com. This cut file is called Color Me Happy, and this is just one of the versions that comes with the cut file. So when you purchase the cut file from scrapbook.com, there's a whole bunch of different versions of this in there. So this is actually one of the scrapbook versions. There are Traveler's Notebook ones in there, but I grabbed the scrapbook one and then resized it so it would fit on my Traveler's Notebook spread. I just cut that out of white cardstock, and you can see I kept all the little inside pieces because I'm going to back this cut file with some of the She's Magic 6x8 paper pad from dearlydee because it's like my current favorite and it works really nicely with rainbows, as you can see. So I just pulled out 6 papers to get a sort of rough rainbow here, and the way I'm going to back this cut file is manually, and you know I don't love doing that, but it was probably the easiest way rather than cutting out all these little pieces with my silhouette. It probably doesn't save much time to use the silhouette for this, so I'm just doing it by hand. What I'm doing is flipping the paper so that it's upside down, and then flip the little piece of the cut file so that is also upside down. I'm going to make sure everything is round the right way. I just drew a pencil outline of the cut file piece, and then when I trim that out with my scissors, I'm making sure to trim just outside those lines a little bit so it gives me somewhere to glue down the backing piece onto the white cut file. So I'm just going to repeat this the 6 times. It's a little bit tedious, but it doesn't take that long, and actually it's quite satisfying watching the rainbow come to life, if you know what I mean. Like, it starts off that's sort of basic and dull, and it is a little bit flimsy when it's empty like this, so be a tiny bit careful when you're gluing things down. And I'm just using just some wet glue. I've got just some PVA glue in here in this little like needle nosed bottle, whatever you call it, just to make that a little bit easier. But I actually love watching this rainbow come to life, and I'm kind of I wish I'd flipped it over for you guys so you have something a little bit more interesting to watch while I do all this. You can see I'm being super rough with the pencil outline here, but you do just have to make sure that those pieces are flat. I've got a reasonably new silhouette mat, so when I peel the pieces off they do get a little bit of a curl to them, so I'm just making sure that they're as flat as they can be when I'm tracing those out so that they are the right shapes. Again with a little bit of glue, and like I'm just eyeballing it, but I haven't managed to overlap any of the backing papers, which is brilliant because I'm trying to keep this flat. Obviously I'm going to create this background piece that then has to get stuck onto my notebook, so I don't want it to be super bulky with all those little pieces of the cut file in behind there. The other way to do it would have been to cut the outline of the cut file, and then, like I said, use the silhouette to cut the perfect inside pieces so that they fit in like a jigsaw puzzle rather than overlapping the back like this, and then actually stick that onto your Traveler's Notebook, like the background, I guess, so the page, and then put all those little pieces in like a jigsaw. But there's a specific reason that I haven't done that, and that is because, you know, I don't like folding things across the middle of my notebook like that. So although I am working on one whole piece like this, it is going to end up being cut in half, which is a little bit agony to do. Now this one here is only just, this piece of the rainbow only just fits on the 6x8 paper, and when I was resizing the cut file to fit, I was very specific to make sure that the biggest inside piece was going to fit onto a 6x8 piece of paper. So if you're resizing things, just be conscious of what you want to back it with. I don't have any of the 12x12 papers from this line, only the 6x8, so I had no option but making this small enough to fit an 8-inch piece of paper, which it does. There's a little bit of a border on my Traveler's Notebook actual page, but I really like that because I will back this entire thing and it just helps it stand out off the page. So I'm getting to the end here, and it's a little bit getting a little bit tedious. One more to go, and I really have nothing else to say about backing cut files, so let's just skip to the good part. Ta-da! Rainbowy! Obviously there is still the pieces at the top and the bottom that are missing, and I just wanted to wait until I'd finished backing this whole thing before I decided what colour I'm going to put in there. I want it to be coloured rather than the sort of white of the background like this, and in the end I went with this kind of sort of pale buttery yellow colour to match one of the papers that I've backed the cut file. I didn't want to go too sort of colourful. I wanted it to be paler so that the rainbow stood out, and I didn't have any super pale blue, so the yellow was my next best option. I've just stuck it straight down onto a 12 by 12 piece of card and then trimmed that out with my trimmer, and while I was at the trimmer I split the whole thing in half. So the glue dries really quickly because there isn't that much glue on there, so I just split the whole thing exactly in half, and then I'll be able to glue one half onto one page and one half onto the other. Now the whole reason for this page is because we woke up the other morning and there was the most perfect rainbow like right off our deck. So I took a quick photo. It wasn't a great photo because the light wasn't brilliant and it was about to bucket down. So I've got this quick little photo. I did alter that in Photoshop so that only the rainbow is coloured, just to help it stand out off the page, because I knew I was going to be using this sort of rainbow background, and I really love how that turned out. I backed that photo with a little bit of pink pattern paper, and then to help that again stand off all that colour in the background, added a few pieces of vellum underneath it just to lighten it up a little bit. Then I used a couple of stickers from that sort of cardstock sticker sheet. One says magical, and then I just added a label underneath that just to get a bit of layers going. And then I decided to use these tiny word stickers, which are again rainbow coloured, perfect, to just add a few little words to create this cluster at the bottom of my right hand page. I'm sort of going for the colour on colour look, but some of the pieces I'm sort of near colour on colour rather than exactly colour on colour, just so that they stand out a little bit more. So the green heart I put above the green, and the yellow's a bit darker so it's not as bad, and same with the little red enamel piece. I added it next to the red stripe just so you can see it. The only difference is I added that little bird because I wanted to put him on there. He was perfectly sized to do fit there, and he's close enough to the blue that I don't mind. Now I've got these pink fresh joyful day stickers to do my title with, because I want to make my title rainbow. I mean, if you're going to have a rainbow page, you kind of have to go all out rainbow, and I'm just going to title it rainbow kind of day. So I'm using the edge of the cut file to line up my alphas, which is the easiest sort of lining up of alphas I've ever done, and just picking a rough enough rainbow order for these letters. Luckily I've got an almost new-ish pack, and there are 2 whole sets of alphabets in each pack of these letters, so it was easy enough to get my rainbow title. And I didn't plan it, but it worked out perfectly that I split the middle of the word down the middle of the page. Otherwise that would have been very awkward having to trim a letter off. So that works nicely. That's my title. The page is almost done. I kind of put it on here to see what it looked like, and I want to add just a couple more little embellishments onto the left hand side. So I use these epoxy stickers again, and once I stuck everything down onto my page, that is it. I love how this page turned out. This rainbow cut file is one of my favorites, but there are a whole bunch of cut files over at scrapbook.com, so I will leave the link for you down below in the description box. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there are a couple more videos on screen, or why not check out my Patreon page, because there are even more videos over there. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye!